part of something that really has stayed with you. And I came into BAF in 2014 as a sponsor. So I was out of film. No one even knew that I was like an actor director. And I heard about the festival, and I'll make this very short because people know about this now. But I was just like, if I had known about BAF in 2005, I never would have left the industry. I would have stayed, I would have made my work, and then knowing that I've got a platform that I can try and submit to show it, come on, man. No greater feeling than that.
Well, that's incredible. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much
so
for
much.
joining me.
I will go and fetch
Yep.
someone else to come and join you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Oh wow, it's the BAFTA. It's the award. Wait, I gotta get this.
Yeah, likewise.
Okay. 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 Was that long?
No, it's just, I think it's because we run over before. So
Oh, okay.
if you want me to time you,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Ready to? Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Can I ask you to please introduce yourself and the BAFTA-winning British short film that you directed?
Thank you very much. First of all, thanks so much for having me. My name is Franz Böhm. I'm a film director, and together with an incredible team, I made Rock, Paper, Scissors, which had the great honor, first of all, of being shown at BAF 2024.
It was incredible.
And then went on a really, really pleasant, really amazing, wonderful festival journey. And also did win the BAFTA 2025, which was obviously, or still is, an incredible honor for all of us.
Congratulations
Thank
once
you very
again.
much. Thank you.
Can you talk to me about the filming process and your experience from pre-production to post?
Absolutely. So, Rock, Paper, Scissors is a true story-based film, obviously based on the life of a young Ukrainian civilian who gets caught up between the two front lines in Putin's brutal war in Ukraine. And the pre-production process, I think, was defined by amazing teamwork between all of the head of departments. We were so lucky that we were able to get Alexander Rudinsky to play the main role. I also want to say that the real Ivan behind the story heavily influenced the pre-production and the production, really, with all of his insight, obviously, and his experience. Shamefully, he couldn't be there during the actual filming. I was already back in Ukraine, but still we were in very close contact. And it was amazing to see that cast and crew invested a lot of energy and creative spirit and ideas into making this film a reality. And we had the honor and pleasure of having a very performance-centered, focused set where everybody was able to unleash their full potential. And obviously the budget was very limited, but we had a fantastic production team led by Hayder and Jade, and they made it happen.
Amazing. What was the feeling when you found out that you had won? How did you celebrate?
I mean, that certainly was a dream becoming true. First of all, it was surreal, completely surreal. And I think immediately I was just very, very proud of us as a team as a gang that we were able to achieve this. We had no idea in advance, and I thought that all the other nominated films were incredibly strong as well. Every single one of them, I think, would have deserved a win as well. And it was a pure joy. Obviously, it goes without saying, it was very sad that Ivan couldn't be there. But we were honored that Alexander was able to join us, and he came all the way from Kiev just for the ceremony, which was an amazing moment for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, obviously, you mentioned that you had your UK premiere right here in Rich Mix, East London. And was you here when we did the roll call and you saw your film?
I saw the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And the roll call?
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
What was the feeling of that?
That was, I think, for me particular, it was a very, very special feeling because this film, lives from the audience letting the film in. And that was obviously our UK premiere, so it was de facto, obviously, one of our first screenings. And we were not sure yet if the film really resonates with an audience. Sure, we had test screenings, and sure, we are somehow convinced of the quality of the film, but still, it was nerve-breaking for sure. But it was an amazing response and a super well organized screening, so it was a lot of fun for sure.
Amazing. And it's fair to say it must have been a very busy, crazy past 2 weeks that you've had.
Yeah, I mean, it was, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's still surreal, and it's, I'm looking forward to what other opportunities will come up for the film and for that story to be presented. I mean, given the current political climate, also the political climate since yesterday, since that press conference, I think perhaps reminded all of us that stories like this should, especially right now, should not be forgotten. And I'm grateful for BAFTA and for you guys and for everyone that that there is a certain attention for this film, this story at the moment.
So is it too early to say what's next, or?
I have, together with a really amazing team, I'm in pre-production at the moment for a political thriller that we'll be shooting later this year in October and November. Still a lot of work to do for that, but a very exciting journey. And we look forward to the shoot and to tackling all these challenges together.
Well, I can't
and
wait
then
to
hopefully to the screening here at some point.
I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to see what you get up to. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And your BAFTA-winning short film. Thank you, and have an incredible night.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Perfect. All good?
Yeah.
All good.
Yes. Good.
3, 2, 1.
Good evening. Please, could you introduce yourself and the film that you directed?
My name is Michael J. Long, and I directed the feature film Baby Brother.
Talk to me about the filming process and your experience from pre-production all the way to post.
It's
a lot.
Yeah, the pre-production process was quite chaotic because, like I say, we made the film on a micro budget, on a real low budget compared to a lot of money to me personally, but in the film world, you may as well have had £1. But so the pre-production process was quite chaotic. like trying to scatter things together. And then the shoot was actually really smooth compared to the pre-production process. And in post-production, it was quite long because obviously we were working 9-to-5 jobs, every single one of us. So it was like evening, we were editing, weekends, edits and stuff. So it took us a year to then finish and edit the film. So, and now it's 3 years on now, nearly 3 years now. And then we're here at this point where we're premiering the film and releasing the film this year. So yeah.
So we know you had your UK premiere up in Yorkshire.
Yeah, Yorkshire.
Yeah, and now we have a London premiere tonight.
Yes.
Can you, if we go back to the time you found out the film was selected, very first selected, what was the feeling? What was going through your mind at that point?
It was a little bit of relief. It was excitement, but a little bit of relief because like when you, I think a lot of filmmakers will say when they're making films and you've got no like real connections in the industry and stuff like that, it can be a long process of no's and no's and no's of getting into, you know, your big festivals or the festivals. So then when we got this, we were like, finally, do you know what I mean? It was one of them like, oh, it's actually good, is it? That's what it felt like. We've actually made a good film.
Wow.
So yeah, it was amazing. And British Urban Film Festival is a festival I've been following for quite a long time, where I've been looking and going, I want to get a film in there. So it was a great sort of moment to be like, oh, right, a goal has been met and we've got there, do you know what I mean?
Amazing.
So yeah.
So how do you feel about BAF and how it celebrates independent cinema today?
I think it's amazing because like they're setting up this screening for us, and obviously Franz and your other man who's made this short film, and like it's been genuinely hard to get people to sit and watch a film that we've made, where it's been made by someone who you don't know. No one knows who I am. No one knows really the names of the people in the film, and now it's all about names and you know what I mean, stars and stuff. So when you email people, if it doesn't say this name in it, they're not really going to pay much attention. And I think a lot of people claim to be supporters of independent film and supporters of like diversity and actual diversity about like through whether it's race, gender, you know, economics and whatever it is. But I think British Urban Film Festival actually do it, and I think that's an amazing thing, and it's a good thing, a good place for us to have been accepted here, and it's a place that I'll, whatever happens now with our career, with when we make on bigger films or whatever, it'll be always a place that I'll come back to and hopefully help grow this as we grow. I think it's important to help people who have helped you throughout the process. So yeah, I appreciate it a lot. Yeah.
And final question: what's next for you?
Well, hopefully we're releasing the film this year. I don't know if I can say. Can I? We're releasing the film this year.
Well, we know now.
We're here now. I'll say it. The film's been acquired by Peter Spider in LA, who's an Oscar, Emmy nominated filmmaker himself. He makes like documentaries. He's made like a lot of cult documentaries over in America, and we got in contact with him, and he loved the film, and he's going to be they're going to distribute the film over in LA and like worldwide and stuff. And then we're in the process now. We've got like funding in place for our second feature, and we're going to try and make another short film. So, and it's all thanks to places like Buff who have accepted us, places like Oldenburg in Germany, that we're able to now move on and make hopefully bigger projects and stuff.
So busy year for you ahead.
Well, hopefully. I'm saying it is. It's actually going to happen. But yeah, hopefully, man. Hopefully, man.
Oh,
like,
I can't wait.
It's an exciting time for when you've put your life into something that like you start getting those little bit of you know, opening up for you and stuff. So yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining me, and have an incredible night.
You too, my love.
Thank you. Good evening. Please introduce yourself and the film that you worked in.
I'm Adassa both at Harvard. I worked on It Could Be You, which is a film about a young girl who has pretty much had to give up her dreams because of the effects of homelessness. So yeah, it's a big one.
And what role did you play?
I'm Tay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was actually on the production,
You
and
was
it was
indeed.
an incredible production. But from your own words, what was your experience like filming?
Cold.
Oh, yes.
It was very cold, but it was one of the most incredible experiences I think I've ever been able to have as an actress. I think it's just been one of those things where it opens your mind to not only your craft, but also the things it was tackling, the film itself. It was such a beautiful film to be able to be involved in, so yeah, it's a great experience.
Yeah. And it's having this London premiere tonight. If you could go back to when you first found out it was selected, what was the thoughts at that time?
I think Lee, the director, called me and I went, okay. And he was like, no, I'm being serious. And I was like, oh, right. Oh, okay. I was like, okay, we're doing this. I was like, fair enough. So I think it was just disbelief, but excitement. So a lot of excitement.
And how do you feel about BAF and how it celebrates independent cinema today?
I just think it's such an incredible organisation of how it lets so many different types of films come up. Yeah, it's definitely a special organisation for films, definitely.
Amazing. And final question is, what's next for you?
Ooh. There's a couple of things coming up at the moment that are in the working, but at the moment I'm just studying at drama school, so it's a busy time.
Yeah, it was very busy time.
Very busy time, but worth every second.
Oh, I can't wait to see what you get up to, and thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
And have a great night.
Thank you.
No problem. Good evening.
Hello.
Could you please introduce yourself and
Hi.
the BAFTA-winning film?
Okay.
You
I
worked
am Milos Luchanko and I played in Rock, Paper, Scissors.
Okay, and could you tell me about the process of filming from pre-production or rehearsals and things like that, and then into actually filming itself?
So what happened was we filmed a part in London and a part in Wales. In London, it was great. It was like we went in a Bond car and it was like so real. Yeah, and in Wales, it was summer, but it felt like winter because it was raining, snow and wind, and it helped me feel the emotions of my character a lot more. And yeah, I really enjoyed that process. Yeah.
So what was the feeling you had when you found out that you won? How did you celebrate afterwards?
So what happened was, on the bath party that we were in, I knew that we won like 40 minutes ago, but I didn't tell anyone because I don't want to break the surprise.
Really?
Yes. Because, you know, the broadcast, the live was delayed for like 1 hour. And me and my friend literally just searched up who won the British Short Film Award. So Rock, Paper, Scissors was like, and I came up to my mom and I was like, Mom, can you please buy me something if we're going to win? She's like, yeah, go away. I'm busy here. And I was like, that's crazy. And then Olga literally said, we won. And my mom screamed like, ah! And I thought someone died. But it was really emotional and I'm so happy.
Yeah. So Buff gave your film its UK premiere right here in Rich Mix last year. If we can go back to the time where you found out that the film was selected, what was the thought process, your experiences?
You know, I was surprised, and it was really important to me because the story is real, and unfortunately similar things happen in Ukraine right now. And thanks to BAFTA, people can remember and support Ukraine a lot more. Thanks to Franz, thanks to everyone in the team for bringing this film into bringing the story into a real film and showing what is it like in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's scary. Yeah.
Well, it's fair to say that it's probably been a very incredible past 2 weeks since winning. Is it too early to say what's next?
I'm a musician. I'm an actor as well, so I'm into that stuff. You know, I play guitar, bass guitar, drums, piano. I sing. I do basically everything. And I'm into that stuff. So I make music. In my mom's studio, it slaps. So my mom teaches kids to sing. I'm her musical producer, so I record her songs.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm something in that position.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait to see what you have next.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
thank
we'll
you.
definitely see
Thank
you
you.
again.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining me and
you
have
very
an
much.
incredible night.
Thank you.
No problem. Good evening. Could you please introduce yourself and the BAFTA-winning short film that you worked on and your role in it?
Yes, so I'm Sunshine. I'm the cinematographer for Rock, Paper, Scissors.
And could you talk to me about, well, definitely about the filming process, the pre-production to post-production?
Yes, yeah. It was such a great collaboration with Franz, the director, and Kamala, the editor. We had an intensive conversation before the shoot. Because the entire film done in handheld, and we really want to bring the audience into the front line straight away. So in terms of how using the handheld, when to choose what to look at or not to look at, all kind of camera works combining editing process in production. So yeah.
What was the feeling you had when you won? What was going through your mind at that point?
It's hard to believe, but we are really grateful that our hard work and collaboration can be seen. Also, the subject can be seen by more people. Me personally, coming from Taiwan, there's always a certain threats that's coming around, and as a cinematographer, you always want to shoot something that's close to the truth and the reality. and raise awareness. And
Yeah.
we are grateful that it's been seen.
How important is it for, you know, a film like Rock, Paper, Scissors and the story behind it that it is pushed today in cinema?
I think we need diversity in cinema.
Mm-hmm.
We need more story that shine a light into some people's life or heart. And yeah, unfortunately, it's a sad story in the end. But my mom always said that if you can, you know, make the dream come true, you can only do that in film. So I think it's very important for festivals like you or the rest of the world to you know, give other films a chance.
And how do you feel about Buff and how it celebrates urban independent cinema?
It's great. It's great. I think this is something that unfortunately is missing for a long time, but it's great that it's happening here, and it's in East London. You know, it's great to celebrate all together as an indie filmmaker.
Yeah. And it's fair to say it must have been an incredible past 2 weeks that you've had since winning. Is it too early to ask what's next?
I'm actually shooting another Ukrainian film.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's also about immigration. It's also about what's happening for refugees. So yeah, stay tuned.
Well, hopefully we'll get to see that.
Thank you.
And we can't wait to see what's next for you. And thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is the last. Oh, yep, straight into it.
Straight into it.
Ready? Good evening.
Good evening.
Could you please introduce yourself and film that you directed?
Lee D. Barnes, and It Could Be You.
Yep. And I was actually on production
You
on
were.
that film, and it was an incredible production. I still remember it to this day.
Brilliant.
But from your own eyes and your own words, what was the experience like for you?
Hectic. only had a really short space of time to do it in. Everybody did it for free, so I didn't want to take up too much people's time, your time as well, because you came up from London. But yeah, it was just great. It was really, really just powerful being on set and telling a story like that as well. And then with the incredible cast that we had with Adassa, and yeah, it was just really, really good.
Creepy Debbie.
Creepy Debbie.
Not to give anything away.
Yeah, she was creepy.
Now, It Could Be You is having its London premiere tonight. If you could go back to when you first found out that it was accepted into BAF, what was your thought process through that?
Wow, that's a tough thought process, really. I think at first I was in denial of it, and then I was like, okay, this is really, really cool. Like, because obviously I worked for the Buff the year before when you came to Halifax, and I was doing the videography, and I watched all the films, and I was like, I kind of know what people are looking for, and I kind of formulated it through that. And then when I got in, I just felt like, oh no, is it because I worked there and everything? And I'm like, no, I don't. But then they said, no, it's definitely not because of that.
Amazing film.
Thank you.
How do you feel about BAF and how it celebrates independent cinema today?
Well, I've been to film festivals over the past 10 years, and when I went to the Buff last year and the year before, it was just the stories that were told were incredible, just incredible, and it was the kind of stories that I like to tell as well. And it isn't like it's the cinema that goes under the radar, and you guys just pick it up and put it on a pedestal, and it's just incredible.
Yeah. And final question: what's next for you?
I start my first feature film in April. We've just been supported by the BFI.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, we're starting production in April.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, scary stuff. Really scary. It's a film about Andy's Man Club. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's a male's suicide support group, and the charity is the base of the actual film itself, the strong narrative of it. And not many films do that. I don't think I've ever seen a film where there's a charity actually based within the core of the film itself. So just do something a little bit different.
Oh, we can't wait to see it.
I can't wait
Hopefully,
to make it.
Let's see. And thank you so much for joining me.
Thank
and
you.
We'll see you soon.
You will.
Yeah.
On air.
Online.
So is it on?
Online.
Online.
On air. And in person.
In person.
Yeah. Okay, so this is Bob.
Ready? Online. What is it? Online.
On air.
On air.
And in person.
And in person.
This is Bob.
Ready? Online. Online. You don't laugh. This online.
On air.
Online, on air, and in person. Online, on air, and in person. You ready? Cool. Online. Online, on air, and in person. Yeah?
This is Bob.
Okay, ready. Online, on air, and in person. This is Bob.
So, tell us more about BUFF, the British Urban Film Festival. How and why did it begin?
So it all started in West London, funnily enough, back in 2005 when I was heading up the African Caribbean Society at my uni, which is at Thames Valley University, which is now University of West London. And we went to the Prince's Trust Urban Music Festival, as it was back in 05 and Will Smith and Akon were
Gosh, I'd
the
forgotten
main
about
guests.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were probably there.
Probably.
Yeah.
The brands, they come and they go. That's why the brands that last forever, you got to respect them.
Indeed, indeed. So it was at that event that I said to my friend who was with me at the time, you've got all these people in one room organised by Prince Charles, and why aren't we as black people doing something similar? So an urban music festival concept then became an urban film festival concept, and we just put a B at the end and then it became Buff.
And of course, buff is cute because buff in slanguage means...
Well, where do you want to start with Buff? So
give us the clean version.
The clean
buff.
version, polished.
Yeah, in slanguage, in street language, buff means...
Nang, peng, beautiful.
So for anyone driving around going, I have no idea what you're talking about, could you define that in an Oxford English Dictionary manner?
So buff is a euphemism for something that is beautiful or attractive.
So if someone walks past you and just goes, she's buff, I can take that as a compliment.
Yes.
Right.
They usually put well buff.
Well buff. She's well buff.
Yes.
The days of the empire are dead. Britain is no longer a great military power. The economy's in the pits. But one way in which we still outshine the rest of the world is in our storytelling, our culture, our films. We are the world's storyteller. We have been, and we could continue to be. But for that to be the case, we need to give a platform for new voices in British film that represent the true diversity we see out there on the streets. And that's what Buff is here to do.
First off, one, thank you for acknowledging Dad. One, because he was a director, he was a producer, he was a writer, besides a comedian, and how he was as a dad is he was a great dad. He just had a lot of hookers, and that's okay, that's okay. We all need a little hooking in our lives. But why I asked you to come up here is because I knew very little about Buff. And so when you asked me to come for the award, I remember I turned to you and I said, well, if it's a film festival, you should be putting in my documentary. Because I really go with the thing of, you ain't got to ask nobody. And so I was, and I approached you, and the fact that I hooked you up with Daryl and you guys made it happen. The other is, you came through on your word in an industry, at least for me, that people have not come through on their word. And to be who you are, but to be a black man of his word for this American biracial woman means more to me and really honors the legacy of my father. And what you're doing for other filmmakers honors the legacy of my father. And I wanted to acknowledge you in front of everybody and say thank you so much.
Everyone knows me. I'm a book person, and I stumbled through my way in film late in life, and got ideas like everyone else, but how do you get them out there, especially with the background I've got. And Buff, 6 years ago, gave me my first opportunity. Yeah, Manuel, the founder. I made a short film, and no, short film was a documentary. I got it out there, and it was a casual, it was a football thing, English white working class. So I had a premiere with a load of football hooligans and whatnot, and there was one black man sitting in the front row, and I thought, who's that? You know what I mean? And he introduced himself as Manuel, and he put me in the Buff Film Festival in 2011, I think it was. And it's kind of nurtured me, supported me, showed me the way through the industry minefield, showed me all the different agendas they're up against, and give us support all the way. And to get the film in Beverley last year, I thought that was victory enough. And the nominations, when I see the nominations, because we've been on the festival circuit for about a year, and we've seen these films, and they're all worthy nominations, and to come out on a raffle ticket here is amazing. And it's the same week that we've entered the film Beverley into the Oscars.
to it. You know, I'm a big supporter of the festival. I think we need more kind of help to push our films through, and I think this is an amazing thing that's happening. You know, it's been running for a long time. The festival's always supported our films, and I just think it's an amazing thing to all come together on one night and just celebrate it, because people work so hard on these films. You know, you see the end product and you don't always necessarily understand kind of how much work and how much struggle goes behind getting a film made. So I'm just so grateful to kind of be here and being asked to come down, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. But woo!
I mean, Emmanuel, the founder of British Urban Film Festival, I know him personally, and I thought, well, this kind of content, I have to reach out to him, and I was very happy that he liked the film, so I'm very grateful the fact that it's being shown.
And I'd just add to that, actually, like, I'm very grateful, actually, for the British Urban Film Festival, because what it's doing is putting a platform for independent film. Most of the filmmakers involved in there, we are working on limited budget, so it's great for us when we hear that it looks like a Hollywood production, because we are working with shoestring budgets. So if we can achieve that professional, high-caliber look, that's great. And if we get a platform, because it's not every day that we get these opportunities, but if we get the platform to show it on the big screen in front of people from the film industry, that's fantastic. And again, this is work that hasn't been somewhat diluted by the commercial world. We're independent filmmakers, so we have complete creative control of our vision, and that's beautiful. And then to then be given the opportunity to show that to people from the industry without them having to put their 2 pence worth in, saying, oh, can you take this, can you remove that, can we have this product placed in the scene? It's completely unfiltered, 100% what we wanted to project in front of the film industry. That's fantastic, and I'm very, very grateful for the British Urban Film Festival for giving us that kind of platform, us and other filmmakers
Really good
as
to have
well.
no restrictions.
I'd really like to praise and thank Emmanuel. Right from the off, when we made Sus, I think even before Sus, he started the festival, he was doing short films. And I met this young, tenacious young black man who was like, yeah, I'm trying to make these films, And, you know, it would have been, at the time, it would have been very easy to dismiss him. Not that he was doing anything wrong, it's just that I've met so many people over the years that have tried to set up film festivals, tried to set up systems to encourage black people to be in the film industry. And there was something about the look in his eye, the definiteness and the honesty that made me really trust and know that he was going to continue, that what he was trying to do would continue. So, in a way, I want to accept this award on behalf of him being such a supporter for all of us.
An individual, you know, you have to believe in your dream, you have to believe in yourself, you have to believe in, you know, what you're striving for way past when everybody else has given up. It's one of the few professions where there are no guarantees for anyone. There is a certain amount of reinvention of ourselves, even if it's very, very subtle, very, very slight. It's about, you know, staying ahead of the trends, creating new trends, but always believing that you have something vital and important to say. The minute you stop believing that, then that's when your dream dies. And in order to keep your dream alive, you have to fan the flame.
My main objective is to inspire others, and, you know, to kind of create. I've always wanted to create a gang of actors. We used to call it the Black Pack, right, Rich? Where we get, you know, like a lot of up-and-coming emerging talent and kind of teach them about the industry, because it's really cool to have raw talent, but to know how to act in different environments is a difficult thing, and a lot of up-and-coming talent don't have that skill. So I've spent a lot of my time kind of mentoring, giving advice, and being a part of a lot of things from, you know, conception to where we get to see it. And I've worked with some really brilliant people. Femi, you know, Sim. I mean, there's so many names I can mention. I could be here all day, but I'm just really honoured to kind of get this. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't had an award since I got the most promising newcomer at the British Independent Film Awards many, many years ago, yeah, for Bullet Boy. And I've been bitter ever since, kind of watching other people walk home with awards. So we got in the cab tonight and my mum was like, don't worry, son, yeah? You definitely know you're gonna get this one. Thank you very much.
Best feature film.
Yeah, it's amazing.
How do you feel?
No, it's brilliant. It's brilliant to be recognised by BAF. Obviously, BAF have supported us over the years. They showed my first short film like years ago. Like Manuel likes to remind me of that every so
Plug
often.
that. What was the best bit?
It was called Fresh Off the Boat. No one wants to watch that. It's not good. Watch the internet. It's on Netflix. And so so it's nice to get recognition for what we've done, and it's brilliant.
And what does BAF feel like? What does it mean to you?
I suppose it's really good to see the growth of BAF. For me, I was on the radio yesterday and I was talking about BAF, and it's it's nice to see the growth and to see the idea every year just get better and better. This year it's the BT Tower. Who knows where it's going to be next year, at the Shard or something, and so it's no, but it's brilliant. It's brilliant just to see as we grow, BAF grows, and hopefully as the industry and the opportunities that exist for black entertainers within this country expands, BAF and organisations such as BAF, because BAF is beyond the award, right? Organisations such as BAF having enough finances to continue to grow their business and also really support the industry and nurture talent.
If you faced down all the naysayers, jumped all the barriers in order to pull off the nearly impossible and produce a film that tells a story you want to tell, can you get the holy grail of a distribution deal? No. Historically, the answer to that has been a resounding no. Hopefully that is changing as films such as Belle, Gone Too Far and Selma, all directed by black women incidentally, show that a good story is a good story. Yeah. But in the meantime, thank goodness for BAF. A very welcome and much needed showcase for the work of talented filmmakers who struggle for recognition in the mainstream. To have a platform where the work is screened, validated and celebrated is enormously valuable. It encourages people to keep going when they might otherwise give up. Being selected for the festival can also be the first step to securing that elusive distribution deal.
I feel that having done 4 films, I'm still at the beginning of my career. And one of the reasons why I feel this is because we know that those who have previously had the privilege to be making films traditionally would have been considered at the beginning of their careers if they had made only 2, 3, 4 films. And I know that as we begin our filmmaking careers, when we're making our first short or our first feature, we're so completely tunnel visioned that it's difficult to think past post-production, let alone a career. And yet, in order for us to be able to call ourselves directors with careers, we have to have sustainable, viable careers. We have to have sustainable, viable work that goes on beyond more than 1 film, beyond 2 films, beyond 3 films, beyond 4 films. So my hope and my wish in receiving this award is that in the years to come, BAF will have a plethora of talent that it can look at in order to honour and celebrate, not just through 4 films, which is still the beginning of a career, but 7, 8, 9, 10, just like those people who have been given the privilege before us and whose work stands alongside ours.
How are you feeling right now? What's going through your mind?
You know what? I just want everyone to go inside and watch the film. You know, I'm not talking to you guys, but I like to get to the nitty gritty. I want to know what everyone thinks about my movie because it's the baddest of its kind. So everyone needs to get inside and see that. So, but no, I'm happy, man. I'm happy that everyone came out. I'm happy to see my cast looking good. Look at that blue. I don't know where that type of blue. Right, try to stand me up. No, but I'm happy to be here, man. It's a good feeling. Like I worked so hard, and the cast worked so hard, and the crew worked so hard to get a moment like this. So it's all good.
For nearly 2 decades, Emmanuel Anyiam-Osigwe's obsession with diversity has won the hearts and minds of filmmakers and audiences alike. His blueprint for how minorities should be represented has stood the test of time, long before the penny dropped for other institutions far and wide that diversity truly matters. This year, as BUFF marks its 15th anniversary, the more things change, the more things stay the same. Never has diversity been more relevant than in 2020. And as long as the issue remains in the public eye, Emmanuel has ensured that for creatives everywhere, the British Urban Film Festival is a broad church that welcomes all creeds and all colours, comfortable in its own skin and bold in its approach to storytelling and showcasing film as seen through the social and cultural lens. From BFM to Buckingham Palace, it's been quite a journey for the man who literally bet the house on making BUFF the success that it is today.
Starting out, the British Urban Film Festival, I mean, it just didn't exist, and it's an incredible event. It's encouraging and giving a platform for people, for emerging filmmakers, for creatives, for artists who aren't always necessarily represented, and it promotes creativity and diversity, and it's just an incredibly exciting event, an exciting thing to be a part of, and I'm really grateful that I get to be part of the story and part of the British Urban Film Festival story.